And if this is the first time you're ever joining us on a workshop, welcome. Today's workshop is actually going to be pretty different from anything we've done so far. So, for those of you that are familiar with heyLevi and with me and our previous workshops, you're probably aware that we don't like to talk about content too much. That's kind of what you think about when you think about heyLevi because it does produce a lot of content. But it's not something that we like to talk about. We don't like to refer to it as a content app simply because I've always thought that, content is a good byproduct once you have your positioning and your messaging dialed in. Once you know how to have your positioning and your messaging dialed in for your brand as a whole, and then for each of your products and offers within that whole, then content becomes an easy byproduct. That's just how I've always looked at content. And so what we really like to talk about when we talk about heyLevi is, we talk about playbooks. Again, those of you that are familiar, you know all about these terms, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not familiar, if you're completely new to us and completely new to heyLevi, I promise you some of these terms are going to get a lot easier to understand and see the value in by the end of this workshop. So I also want to remind everyone this isn't meant to be a webinar. This isn't meant to be a live challenge. It's really meant to be a workshop. So if you can turn your camera on, engage with us in the chat, ask questions, follow along, work along with us. You're going to get the best experience out of the next 90 minutes, and you're going to be able to walk away with hopefully what you came here for, which is understanding how to apply brand voices in a way that honestly nobody else is talking about. How to apply it in a way that it actually meets your customers where they're at various stages of the funnel. And that you're not just, you're not thinking of brand voices as just your personality, your one personality that you are going to use to speak to your audience, no matter which stage of the funnel they're at with you. And there's a good reason for that, right? Think about any close relationship that you have. Think about your spouse if you're married, or if you have a long-term partner or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it may be, long-term best friend. When you first met them, you likely connected. A lot of us connected with I know I connected, Kanal and I connected, not instantly. There's a whole story behind that, but from our very first date, we connected, right? But the way you approach a relationship when you go on a first date versus when you first get married to when you've been married to 10 years, or in our case 13 years, the way you present yourself, the way you speak, it changes, it evolves, right? And it just depends on how close you're getting with the other person. How evolved is your relationship, and how, as you get to know and discover each other, it all comes down to how that, influences the way you speak with each other. Right. And it's the same thing with our audiences. If we are, if somebody is coming into our world for the very first time, we don't want to speak with them or speak to them the same way we're speaking to somebody who's already a customer or who's been a customer with us for many years. And so that's what we're going to talk about: how to think about brand voices as not just your personality, that is where we're going to start, but how to actually think about brand voices in a way that is going to help you meet your customers and build that trust and long-term relationship based on how warm or cold they are in your world and what their relationship with you is at any given point. So let me open up my chat really quick. If you guys have any questions at all as we go through this, please drop them in the chat. Again, just really want to make sure that you guys are getting the most out of this. And the best way to get the most out of this is to just follow along, ask questions in the chat as they come up. There are no wrong questions, no wrong answers. Well, there might be some wrong answers, but no stupid questions. So please do ask everything as they come up as you're working along with us. I am going to, let me actually share my screen here, and let's dive in. All right. I need to first figure out how to go into presentation mode. This always takes me a minute, so bear with me here. All right, let me know if you guys can see. Is it sharing? It's not sharing yet. There we go. Am I sharing the right screen? Because I know last time I was sharing presenter view. Awesome. Thank you for the thumbs up, Patrick. Um, Here, let me just make sure I can find my chat window now since that's disappeared. Although my team is here as well, so even if I am talking away, make sure you still keep dropping your questions in the chat. I will do a Q&A at the end of the workshop, but in the meantime, my lovely team is in the chat. They're going to be answering your questions as we go along. All right, here we go. All right, guys, cue the music. I know I need to start. Yes, Nathan, I need to starting my workshops with music. Um, I will do it one thing at a time. Today, I just wanted to make sure that we were recording. Honestly, that was my big task for today. I was like, today I'm gonna make sure that we are recording this thing. All right. But we'll do music next month onwards. Next month, we actually have some surprises for you guys. So I'll talk about that more towards the end. But anyway, so jumping into the topic again, thank you guys for being here. Really excited to share this stuff because, again, I mentioned this at the beginning, but for those of you that are just joining us, this is the first time that we are talking about brand voices. We're talking about content today. We're going to be talking more about content. This is going to be like a part one, but again, I'm going to reveal more towards the end. But the reason we don't talk about content is because I've always thought about content as a good byproduct of strong positioning and messaging. And so all of our workshops so far have been around positioning, messaging, how to create offers that sell, how to get into your customers' heads. And so today, we're just going to be talking about something that we've never talked about. And to be honest, I don't see anybody else talking about it. So with that, can you guys tell me in the chat, what do you think a brand voice is? What does a brand voice mean to you? If it doesn't mean anything, if you're like, I have no clue, I just thought it sounded fancy, so I'm here. Say that as well, but let me know. Tell me if what you guys think a brand voice is. Those of you that are already using a heyLevi and AI in general, you probably have some idea what a brand voice is. Um, the way you talk, the way your audience visualizes your brand, communication that reflects who you are. Awesome. Yeah. Yes. So the way your audience visualizes your brand and feels about your brand, I think is more like your brand itself. But yes, so brand voices as the way you speak, right? It's what your company represents. Okay, great answers here. Words my business will use and shouldn't use. Tones, themes, quirks, awesome. The way your brand communicates, what you say, consistent image, consistent personality and tone. Yes, awesome. So you were talking a lot about communication, right? Communication, including marketing material, social media, website content. Correct, correct. You cheated. That's fine. Perfect answer. Values and how you communicate with your audience. Yes, exactly right. So it's all about the way you communicate. That's really what it boils down to. Your brand voice is the way your brand communicates with your audience. That's really all it is, right? And if you think about it, and if you've been seeing some of the ads and at least the stuff that Facebook is serving me right now on my news feed, people are talking about brand voices as a one and done thing. Like, let me show you how to make ChatGPT sound more like you. We're going to do these few little steps, few little tricks. You're going to have a brand voice that now reflects your brand and your personality, and you're good to go. Right? But think about it. We all want to be authentic. We all want to bring our authentic selves to our conversations and our communication with our audience, but we all have different versions of that authentic self. So if you're trying to bring your authentic self to these communications, which version of your authentic self are you trying to bring to a conversation? Right? It can't all be the same. Like I said, my whole analogy of when you meet your soulmate for the first time to when you're getting married to when you've been married for years and years and years, it evolves. That conversation evolves, and we're going to look at that and how that actually translates into your brand funnel today. All right. So with that, how do I go to my next slide here? Here we go. I love starting with quotes. So I did this in the last workshop as well, so bear with me. We're going to start with 3 quotes today, and they're going to be quotes from some of the biggest brands that we all know, right? The biggest brands that I know of, 2 of these brands I've actually worked with, which is really cool, and I've got some insight and information of how they've grown their brands. But really, their number one secret all boils down to these 3 quotes that I'm going to present today. The first one is you've got to start with the customer experience and work backwards to the technology, right? The second one is Jeff Bezos, Amazon. We're not competitor obsessed, we're customer obsessed. We start with what the customer needs and we work backwards. It's like kind of the same quote, if you ask me, from Steve Jobs. It's just said a different way, right? So you're going to see a very common theme between these. And this is a Nike maxim, which means it's basically a rule that they live by. This isn't a quote per se, but this is one of their maxims. And this is something that I read in an article that I thought was really fascinating. Somebody who worked at Nike, I've never worked with Nike, but somebody who worked at Nike said this was one of the maxims that they live by. So if there's ever a doubt, there's ever a question on where the roadmap needs to go, where, a product needs to go, what they need to release or not release, it's always the consumer decides. So you guys see a common theme here yet? The customer is always right. That's a little bit of a loaded statement. I don't know if I would say that. But yes, your customer is what drives everything that you do. And if you don't understand your customer on that deep, deep level, and you'll hear me say this on every workshop, even if it's a whole new topic like today, I've been saying this over and over again. I'm going to say it again. It all starts and ends with your customer and their journey with you. That is the number one reason your the biggest brands have been able to grow. It's literally their biggest secret. It's the biggest brands around the world, their number one biggest secret on how they've grown. And you can read any of these books. You can read Steve Jobs' books. You can read Jeff Bezos' book. You can read where's that Amazon book that I had yesterday? I was reading through it. Working Backwards. It's an Amazon book. You read any of these stories, the Nike story by the Nike founder, I'm forgetting what that's called. We have that book as well. All of these books for all of these successful brands will all talk about how they started with their customer and they worked backwards. And it's not just that they had this customer avatar that talked about demographics and pain points and they worked backwards from there. No, it's not a one and done thing. Just like how after being married to Kanal, to my spouse for 13 years, we're still learning about each other. We still discover new things about each other. You will always discover new things about your audience. It is evolving, it's dynamic. And Shoe Dog, thank you. That's the one. That's the Nike book. It's a great book for those of you that haven't read it yet. But yeah, so you want to make sure that this is an evolving thing. You're constantly doing the work to get into your customers' heads, learn what they are saying, what they're thinking in their own words, and then reflect that back in your messaging. We like to call that echo marketing, mirror marketing, whatever it is that you're calling it. You want to echo back, you want to mirror back what your audience is saying and thinking back to them. Again, we've had workshops on how to do that. Today, we're going to be talking about brand voices specifically, but it's really important to keep one thing in mind, that everything starts and ends with your customer's journey with you. And as long as you can nail this one piece, and there's different facets to it. Again, we're going to be talking about a whole new facet today that we haven't covered before. But as long as you can understand this and really leverage your customer's journey with you, that is the best and fastest way to growth. All right. So why listen to me? I have this slide here just because I never know if I'm going to get all of our existing customers on a workshop, if I'm going to get any new folks. So before we go any further, how many of you are completely new to me and to heyLevi and to our world? And how many of you have been in our world? I see a lot of familiar faces, so I already know a lot of you. But if you're completely new to us, put a 1. And if you're an OG with us, put a 0. 0. Oh for OG. Oh, thank you, Nathan. Okay, so we have a good mix. That's awesome. New other than mention an AI employee class. Oh, interesting. Awesome, Matthew. Well, welcome. Good to have you. AI employee class. I'm assuming this is a high level AI employee class. Awesome. Okay, so yeah, lots of 1s and 0s. Cool. So we have lots of OGs and we have quite a few of you that are new to us. So awesome. So I'm going to go through this really quick. Those of you that know me, I apologize. I know the intros are always boring. That's probably the most boring thing that I think, is to sit through a workshop. But for those of you that are new to me, a quick introduction. If I can find my screen here. I spent 8 years of my career, not my my life too, but my career, working in post-production for films like Marvel, Cirque du Soleil. I got to work on The Avengers, Iron Man 2, a whole bunch of movies. This is about half of my IMDb profile. All this just to say, I mean, yes, it's my claim to fame, but all this just to say that I've really lived and breathed the idea of storytelling and how it applies to marketing. I've also spent 2 years after the Hollywood stuff. I did 2 years of product launches for some of these really big brands. Excuse me, Apple. I was part of the Apple iPhone 5 launch in 2012. The Amazon Fire Phone 2 years later. Around the same time was the Motorola and Radio Shack deck. I don't know if any of you guys remember that. It was a Michael Phelps ad that we did for it. Windows Vista, which was, of course, you'll see a lot of failures on here, but I'm actually really proud of the failed launches on the screen, simply because I learned the most from those failed launches than I did from the successful ones. Apple iPhone being an exception, I learned a lot from that very successful launch. And I always like to put the Pine Sol bottle in there because with all the tech launches I've done, I did one launch for a new fragrance for Pine Sol, which is always fun to talk about. It is so out of the whole tech world that I've been in for so long. So love it. AI Avengers Assemble, yes. But anyway, so that's a little bit about me. So I've been doing a lot of storytelling, brand marketing, product launches, and of course, for those of you that know me through heyLevi, I've spent the last 2.5 years of my life building what I think is the AI app that everybody needed, but nobody was talking about or nobody else was building. And these are some of our customers that have been using heyLevi right from the beginning. And so, again, we never thought about heyLevi as a content app. We've always thought about it as a product marketing app, something that helps you position and market yourself in a way where content just becomes an easy byproduct. Even though today we're going to be focusing on the content and the brand voices piece of it. Okay, one last quote, and I promise there will be no more quotes for the rest of this presentation. But this was actually something that I had in my last workshop as well. I just kept it in there, but it really went well with what we were talking about today. So the point of good writing is for the reader to understand. The point of good persuasion is for the prospect to feel understood. Right? Think about when you write copy for whether it's sales copy for an offer or whether it's marketing copy for your social media or blog post or whatever it may be, an email. Are you thinking about, is this easy enough, simple enough for my reader to understand? That's a good first place to start. That's a good starting point. But are you also thinking about, is this going to help my reader feel seen and understood? Okay, that is when you start to build that connection with your audience, when you're really thinking about it from that point of view. Okay, which brings me to the meat of today's topic, which is brand funnels, brand voices, how they all relate. So for any of you that have been in marketing for a while, you are probably familiar with this, right? These sales funnels, brand funnels, they all look the same. At the end of the day, it's all about, you have your awareness and consideration stage right at the top. This is your top of the funnel, your cold audience. Then you have your preference and purchase. So basically, awareness and consideration is where people first hear about you, right? Like let's say on social media. Preference and purchase, now they are evaluating whether they want to go with you or they want to go with somebody else for that solution that you offer. And then, of course, once they become customers, it's loyalty and advocacy. And that's really the golden part of the funnel. That's where you want to try and drive as much of your traffic, as many people from your audience to. It's that loyalty and advocacy that grows your brand. That's the part that we want to fill, right? That's the bucket that we want to fill. Tofu, mofu, bofu. And I love saying it fast. It's actually a lot of fun. But yes, top of funnel, for those of you that aren't familiar what tofu, mofu, bofu is, it's the top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel, just very marketing words. But what that really means to say is that you have your cold audience, your warm audience, and then your hot audience. And believe it or not, your growth does not come from your cold audience. A lot of us, when we are just starting out with businesses, and I'm guilty of this, when I started my very first business, we spend too much time focusing on the top of funnel and not enough time on the bottom of funnel, which is where our hot audience is and where the growth really happens. Not to say you can get to the bottom of the funnel without going through the top of the funnel. So they're all equally important. It's just your attention and your focus needs to be on that last stage of the funnel, right? And what we're going to be talking about today is how your core brand voice This is what you're already familiar with based on your answers in the chat. I know you guys are already familiar with what a core brand voice is, what that brand personality is, how you use that to in your communications with your audience. But now we're going to take that, and instead of just looking at it as I have one core brand voice and I'm going to use that for everything, now this is going to feed into my funnel, and I'm going to identify how to use this brand voice depending on whether somebody is a cold audience and they've just discovered me and now I'm in that learning phase. So again, going back to my analogy of like when you meet your soulmate for the first time, top of funnel, that's all about the learning phase. You're still learning about each other. It's awareness and consideration, which means you're learning about each other and you're considering which parts align. Like, do you guys align on your goals? Do you resonate with each other? Do your stories fit in with each other? It's the same thing with your audience. That's the first stage, right? The middle stage is where you make a decision. Now, do you want to move forward? And hopefully the answer is yes. So now you convert them. This is the conversion stage. Now, at that point, you're talking to them a little bit different. It's less about education and learning about each other. It's more about delivering on the promises that were made. The things that were said in the first stage, you want to start delivering on those promises in the second stage. Once you have that, now somebody becomes a long-term customer. They come back, they are a recurring customer, and hopefully they love you and your brand enough to advocate for you as well. But all of this, we're going to look at what your core brand voice has to do with any of this. Okay, so I'm going to actually pause here, and I'm going to now switch over to my. Can I do this without stopping my sharing? Let's find out. I'm going to switch over to heyLevi. So before I do that, oh, it already went to the next slide, but I don't want you to do that just yet. Give me 1 second here. Do you guys still see my screen? Do you see my heyLevi screen? Okay, good. Is it too small or big, or can you guys see it okay? I just don't know if I need to. I have a big screen and I've made the window small because I think that's going to work, but let me know if I need to. Okay, awesome. It's perfect. You see it really well. Awesome. Okay, so before we dive into this part, now we're going to actually look and implement what we just talked about with the brand voices. We're going to implement that. But before I dive into this part, I already did the ones and the zeros, and I know that we have a good mix of OGs and those who are new to us. But those who are new to us, can you tell me if you guys have your free heyLevi accounts or premium accounts, whichever one, but do you have a heyLevi account? If you do, yeah, just drop me a yes. Yes, yes, yes. Only 3 yeses. Okay, I have some no's. You're not sure if you have one or not. So we have different kinds, and it doesn't matter which one you have, as long as you have a heyLevi account. You can be on one of our freemium, our free accounts. You can be on one of our premium standalone accounts, or you may be in our high level world, in which case you have our white label. For those of you, I see a few no's in the chat. So if you don't have one, Maha, if you can. Yeah, thanks, Kanal. If you guys want to click on that link that Kanal just shared in the chat, go ahead and just sign up for one. You can use your Google login, so it's really easy to do. It's just like it takes a minute to sign up, and it's completely free. We don't even ask for a credit card. It's just so that you can work along with us and get the most out of this time together. You don't have it installed on GHL. So if you have an account but you don't have it installed, Amy, I'm not sure I don't know if this has a typo. You don't have a 297 account, so do not have it installed on GHL. So it works with any GHL account. We also have $97 folks on it, or at least we used to. But yeah, 297, 497 both work. If you guys are not sure if you have an account or not, or if you haven't opened your heyLevi and you're not sure where to find it, just go ahead and sign up for a new account for now. And then you can reach out to our customer support team and we'll help you locate your account. But just so that you can work along with us, you'll want at least a free account. If you have a paid account, you'll be able to do a lot more with the brand voices that we're talking about, but at least you'll know, and you can follow along with the free account, and maybe supplement it with a little bit of ChatGPT, which I'll go over. Okay, so let me know if you guys, those of you that said no, let me know, drop me a 1 in the chat as soon as you have your free account set up and ready to go. just so we can all do this together. Ready. Awesome. Awesome. We have a 1, we have a ready. It looks like most of you already have your heyLevi account, so all good. It was just a few of you that said no. All right, I see a bunch of 1s and readies. So hopefully you're all good to go. If you guys have any questions, just drop it in the chat, or you can reach out to our customer support team as well. You can do that on the heylevi.ai website. Just use the little chat widget. Or you can also email us at help@heylevi.ai. Okay, it looks like all of you are ready though. I see a lot of readies and 1s. Awesome. So let's keep going. So if this is the first time that you just signed up for an account, or you signed up for an account prior to this, but you haven't actually used it yet, you're going to see something different. You're probably going to see our onboarding flow, which is going to be asking you to create a brand voice, a brand playbook, and a product playbook. Okay. Again, if you're brand new, what we are going to be doing today is we're going to create brand voices. You're going to start by creating your first brand voice. We're going to create a quick brand playbook. This is something that you can finesse later. We're just going to create a quick one. And we're not going to be creating a product playbook. So for those of you that already have this, our OGs, this is a great time to go through your brand voice, your core primary brand voice, and your brand playbook to make sure that it's still up to date. Remember, I said that your audience is not static. And so if this hasn't been refreshed or updated in a while, this is a great opportunity for you to take a look at that and make sure that your customer avatar still represents who you're actually serving today. Okay. All right, so the first thing, again, your screen might look different if you're in the onboarding flow, which is totally fine. But we are going to, you'll just want to go through the 3 steps. We're going to ignore the last step. We're just going to create a brand voice and a brand playbook. All right, so in this account, this is actually a mock account that we have for, what is this for? So for athletes with ACL injuries. What does ACL stand for again, Kunal? I know he's the one who created this account, so I know he knows. You guys probably know it's a part of.
Anterior cruciate ligament.
Oh, is that too much to type out? Okay, there you go. I can't say it out loud. There we go. Thank you. Okay, you guys all know it's a ligament in your knee. That's all I know. I know it's one of probably the most important one. No, it's a knee thing, not a foot thing, Katie. I don't think it's in the foot. I think it's only in the knee, right? All right. Anyway, besides the point, this is 40 years of wrong. It's fine. I'm married to a guy that plays soccer and keeps staring it, so that's why I know what it is. Otherwise, I would have no idea what it is. So this is a mock brand that we created, a mock business and a mock account that we created for a business that serves and helps athletes that have ACL injuries. It helps them recover and heal. So just a little bit of context in case you're like, what is this? What are we looking at here? But again, the first thing we're going to do is actually create a brand voice. Now here, when you click on add brand voice, you're going to be able to do one of 2 things. So you'll be able to say add content, and then it'll give you 3 things. It'll give you these 3 different options where you can have the AI analyze existing content to tell you what your content style is or your brand voice is, right? So we talked about different brand voices. Right now, we are just at the core brand voice stage of things. So think about this like what you guys were talking about, right? This is what everybody on the internet is, whoever's talking about brand voices, this is the part that they are talking about. They're talking about this one brand voice that reflects your personality, your writing style. So do you guys all have either a website or some kind of content, whether it's on a Google Doc or it's, on a website or somewhere that you can copy and paste in? Everybody have something that they can, or you already have your brand voice, which you're happy with. Drop me a 1 if you have either a brand voice already created or something that you like and that represents your writing style. Awesome. Lots of 1s. If you need to think about this for a second, 0.7, and that's totally fine. 0.7 is totally fine. Again, none of this is static. So if you're a 0.7, it just means that you're thinking about this from a standpoint of it evolving, which is perfect. You don't know if you like it just yet. Okay. Could you load an interview with a client? You can definitely start there. Okay, so now we're talking about your brand, though. We're not quite talking about your client's business. So the question in the chat is, could I load an interview with a client where we discuss in detail their business? So if you feel like the speaking style is reflective of your brand, then you can use it at this stage. Otherwise, you can hold off on this and you could try it for the brand playbook. But really, what we're trying to do is help you create a brand voice that reflects your brand, your personality. Okay. Yes, on your own brand. So for now, I'm just going to show you guys a quick example, right? So the quickest, easiest way to do this is, of course, if you have a URL, I'm just going to use the heyLevi website as an example. So this is our heyLevi website. If I just take the URL and I pop it in here, it's going to let me add this here, and then it's going to analyze it. Okay, I just have to click outside of it and then click on analyze. It'll analyze it. And then it'll tell me what it thinks my brand voice is. Now, at this point, if you are copying and pasting something in, that's totally fine as well. Or if you have a Google Doc, you can export it as a TXT file, so text file, and then upload it, and it will do the same thing. It'll just analyze it. Katie, what do you mean by deep analyzing? The whole site. Oh, no, it is only doing the one page that you put the URL in for. Yeah. And hopefully you have a page that is reflective of your brand voice, right? Should you put the about page? Yeah, if you feel like you've written that out in a way that reflects your brand and your writing style, absolutely. And again, this is something that we're going to be moving a little bit fast just in the interest of time. But if this is like, if you have something that you're not quite sure represents your brand voice, just use it for now. And you can always come back in here and repeat these steps later. You're going to get the replay as well. As long as you registered for the workshop today, you guys will be getting the link to the replay. We are recording. So as long as Zoom doesn't crash on me for some reason, we're good. I shouldn't even say that out loud. But yes, just grab something that you think is reflective, and we're going to work through this, and you can come back in and perfect it later. All right. So what it's going to do is it's going to give me a weird name. I'm not a huge fan of these names. I'm just going to say that, but it works sometimes. It's sticky. It helps you remember, like when you want to pull this into content that you're creating in the rest of the app. And so I leave it alone. But you can always change this if it's like weird and you want to change the name, you can totally do that. The important part is looking at these parts. Usually the analysis will give you something that's about 80 to 90% there, but you might still want to tweak it a little bit. So something that I like to do, and I'm just going to leave this as is, but something that I like to do is not use a lot of exclamation points. My team knows this. I'm always after them. Whenever they write anything, I'm like, take out all the exclamation points. I like to have one or two, and that's it. So I will actually say, and this is just an example, you might have your own ways of saying things. You might have your own negative words that you don't like AI to use. You can put those in here. Okay, so I'm just going to say something like, use no more than one exclamation point. Again, whatever you can think of that's going to make this reflective of your brand voice and your writing style. Okay, in this example, it's actually only used one, so it's fine. A lot of times I see like 3 or 4 exclamations here. Oh, see, there is another one here. So like I will just change this in the example. So I just want to make sure that the description I'm giving it matches the example. So if I'm changing something here, I want to make sure that that's reflective in the example that it's going to use, because it is going to use this to create content moving forward. Okay. Once you're done, you'll go ahead and click on save and make primary. Okay, this is the one time you're going to say save and make primary. The other brand voices that we're going to create from this moment on for each stage of your funnel, you're just going to save it. You want your core brand voice, the one that reflects your personality, to be your primary brand voice. Katie, how does it change the example? You just want to make sure that whatever you're telling it in the description, that the example is reflective of that description. So in this example, it's a small example that I gave you, but I just said, use no more than one exclamation point, and then my example had 2 exclamation points. So I had to go in and remove that so that it matches, because what's going to end up happening is if they don't match it, the AI might look at the wrong part that you don't want it to. So in this case, it's going to see, oh, she has 2 exclamation points. So it's fine. I'm just going to ignore this instruction here. And we don't want that to happen. Okay. So I see that somebody has, the team is helping you guys out with your password reset. Okay, awesome. Okay, all of this makes sense. Any questions so far? I want to make sure I'm not leaving anybody behind, because we are going to keep moving a little bit faster, and I want to make sure that you have at least your 3 additional brand voices ready to go for each stage of your funnel during this workshop. So let me know if you guys have any questions about any of this so far. You guys got your brand voice? You got it? Awesome. Give me a quick one in the chat if you guys have it. If you're still working through it, I'll give you another minute. But if you already have it, awesome. Thumbs up, lots of ones. Thank you guys. Okay, so it looks like maybe half of you are still working on it. Not yet. Okay, so we'll give you guys a few more seconds. But again, don't worry about it being perfect right now. We just want you to have a brand voice, and you're going to see how easy it is to take that brand voice and dissect it into your 3 stages of the funnel. And you can always come back and redo these steps. Once you know what you're doing, it's not going to take 90 minutes. This is a 90-minute workshop just so we can actually have a discussion about it. I can give you guys context. I can give you guys best practices. But if you're doing this on your own, it's really, really quick. You can do this in like 5 minutes flat, the whole thing, not just the one brand voice. Any other recommendations on things that you should be looking to do in your brand voice? The exclamation point was a good example. Yes, I like to have negative words. So I have, this is something we laugh about with the team internally all the time because we all have different ideas of what sounds AI. The one thing that really irks me is imagine this or picture this. I swear I'm allergic to those words. If I see it in copy, I just run. And somebody else on my team is like, oh, that sounds perfectly fine to me. Jackie, if you're here, she can't stand it when people say you're not alone. And it's funny because I feel like I say that just naturally, but that's very there she is. She hates it. She always reacts to you're not alone. It's the same way that I react to picture this or imagine this. So if you have any pet peeves like this would be a great place to add that in and make sure that those words are not in here. Okay. I will also go to a point of, and again, this is not something that I encourage you to do right now because that does take a little bit of extra thinking and time. But that is, that is definitely something that I encourage you to do later to perfect this and really have it reflect your writing style. I will even say, instead of imagine this, say, think about a time, or what is the one that I tend to use? It's actually really good and I love it and I can't think of it right now. It'll come to me. But basically, I always say, instead of picture this, I say what if. So I say, instead of picture this or imagine this, say, what if you could be doing X, Y, and Z, a month from today or 30 days from today. So instead of picture this, imagine this. So that's an example for you. And then in my example, I'll actually go in and put that. So I'll make sure that it says, imagine if, what if your life looked like this? Or what if, marketing could actually be easy? What if every piece of copy that AI produced for you would actually sound like you wrote it on your best day? That's an example. I would put that in my example here. All right. Okay, we're going to move on. I think most of you have it. So once you're done with your primary brand voice, I'm going to cancel out of this because I already have mine here. You're going to save and make primary, and you should see this border. For those of you that are using a white label version of heyLevi, you're going to see this in your brand colors. But otherwise, if you're using our heyLevi standalone app, you're going to see a purple border around your primary brand voice. Good. Okay, now we're going to go on to the brand playbook. This is where, and you get a pretty robust brand playbook out of heyLevi. heyLevi does all the work. But there are 4 questions or 5 questions that you need to answer. And I'm going to help you guys do that right now. So when you click on create a brand playbook, again, for those of you that already have your brand playbooks, this is a great opportunity for you to just give it a quick once over. To see if there's anything that you want to change about your customer avatar specifically, since that's the part we're going to be using today. But just in general, if there's something that you want to update on that. So there's different ways you can create your brand playbook. If you have a URL, always the easiest way to get heyLevi to do anything for you. You can just drop in your website here and extract brand info from URL. That button will light up once you put a URL here. And what it'll do is it will go through your website. Again, single page only. It's not a deep analysis. It's going through just the page that you put in here. And it will try and draw out your audience. So the answer to these 5 questions. Who is your target audience? What does your brand do for your audience? So what is that one big thing that you do, right? So in this case, we are targeting athletes with ACL rupture injuries. And what we do is we help them recover not only physically, but also take care of the mental aspects of ACL injury recovery. Okay, so it's going to extract who your target audience is. What does your brand do? What is the biggest thing your brand stands against? Now, if you don't have, by the way, if you don't have a website that is reflective of this, and if you have we've had folks in our community who have workshops as well, and they feel like those workshops are very representative of who they serve and what they do for them. If you have that, and if you have a transcript, again, you can export that as a TXT file, text file, and simply upload it in here. And it's going to do the same thing. It'll analyze it for you and give you a starting point. If you don't have either of those, honestly, it's really easy and quick. I'm going to say quick with a little caveat because I always have some of you, and especially some of our OGs, say, it took me an hour to do this. How are you saying it only takes a minute? So I highly encourage that you spend time on this. This is going to drive your entire brand strategy. It's really going to make all the difference if you perfect your brand voice and your brand playbook. But in the interest of keeping this moving, I want to make sure that I give you guys all the steps so that you know what to do after the workshop as well. Okay. So we're not going to spend, yes, Katie, definitely thinking of you. So, and I know that something that Katie does, which is really cool also, is that she uses, again, this is not in the free version of the app, but if you have a, ChatGPT account, this is, you can use that as well to supplement it. Or you guys, if you want to do all the different brand voices, so your free account will let you create this one brand voice and one brand playbook. You won't be able to create the multi-brand voices with us. If you would like to do that with us in heyLevi, go ahead and sign up for one of our premium plans. We do offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you just want to use it for the workshop, that's perfectly fine. Just email us at help@heylevi.ai. Maha just put that in the chat for me. You can email us at help@heylevi.ai within 30 days, and we will give you a complete refund, no questions asked. Okay. Um, yes. Thank God we don't have to do this manually anymore. I remember it felt like earning a PhD in prompting just to make ChatGPT understand my brand voice. Yes. And so for those of you that have been in the branding and marketing world for a while, you'll also see that what this produces is very reflective. It's not entirely there, but it's very reflective and very close to what a lot of marketing agencies charge $25,000, $30,000 to create, and also take a few weeks to create. So a lot of power in this. But yes, what I was going to say here is if you have one of our premium or white label accounts, you can also just use Brainstorm AI to ask it to give you the answers to these questions. All right. But anyway, for now, just think about the answers that you know about your audience and what you do for your audience. Okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. You can always come back and perfect it later. So again, you want to put your target audience here. You want to put what you do for your target audience. This is the part where a lot of folks have gotten tripped up. So I want to make sure that you get this one right. What is the biggest thing that your brand stands against? This is typically what other competitors or other people in your niche, in your world, are doing for your target audience, but you know that that's not going to get them the results that they really want or need. Okay, it's something that you stand against, and you can already see where this is going. This is going to help you position your brand to stand out from what everybody else is doing. So hopefully there's this one thing that everybody else is doing that you do differently and that you know is going to get your customers the kind of success that they're looking for. So in this example, we stand against other competitors who treat ACL injuries as just a physical thing, and that physical therapy will do the trick without the mental and emotional aspects of it. Okay. So that is what we stand against. So that might take you an extra couple of minutes to think that through, but just think about the one thing that you do different. That's really what it is. All right. This is kind of building off on that now. The next question is, what is the one thing you do best that your competitors don't do? And this is just kind of rewording what you're saying here. So you're talking about what you stand against here. This is really what you stand for. So the flip side of this, and that you do best that your competitors aren't doing. So concentrate on the mental and confidence building aspect of an ACL injury recovery journey. Okay. Hopefully this is all making sense. Let me know in the chat if you guys have any questions. If this is all making sense, give me a 1 or a thumbs up so I know you're following. I couldn't narrow those down to best and one thing, so I put it all in. And you can do that too. If you have different things that you do that's different from your competitors, put them all in here. And then see what the AI does for you. It's going to take all of this, it's going to analyze it for you, and then it's going to give you something really, really solid to move forward with. Okay. And then this is probably the least important for what we're doing today, but what is the one action? This is like your main call to action. What do you want someone to do when they come to your website? What is that next thing? So just fill it in here because you can't move forward without it, but this is not something we're going to really be paying attention to today. Okay. Once you're done with the answers to these 5 questions, you'll click on Generate Narrative. and the rest is all just clicking buttons. heyLevi does everything else for you. Okay, and this is all a part of your free accounts as well. So for those of you that are on the free heyLevi account, don't worry about ChatGPT just yet. You can do all of this within heyLevi and you can keep it forever. Okay, so go ahead and do this. And what you're going to do is just click the buttons after that. You can go ahead and generate your narrative. It will give you your customer avatar. So actually, let me come out of edit mode here. Actually, no, let me show you edit mode for those of you that are actually working along. It's going to show you your customer avatar here. Now, these are not going to be, for those of you that maybe have seen me talk about like super detailed dialed in customer avatars that you can speak to, those are in product playbooks, and that's not something we're covering today, okay? So keep in mind that if that's what you're just wondering where the disconnect is, this is more of an umbrella customer avatar. It's the typical person that would be attracted to your brand. Okay, not necessarily your specific customer avatars that are your segmented audience. It's just that one customer avatar that represents the entirety of your audience. Yes, the replays for our older workshops are all on YouTube, I believe, Maha, right? I think they're all on YouTube on our YouTube channel. So definitely go check those out if you guys would like to. But again, just to keep focused on brand voices, which is what we're talking about today, don't worry about that just for now. Okay, so you want to make sure that your customer avatar is pretty bang on based on what you know about them. And then you can check out the pain point that you're solving for this customer avatar, how you want to position your brand to be the person, to be the guiding force for this customer avatar, your elevator pitch, the solution that your brand provides. Again, we're going to ignore the call to action, just let it be whatever it is for now, and the risk of inaction. So this is what your prospects risk losing out on or missing out on if they choose not to work with you today. All right, all making sense so far? Yep, can I get some yeses, thumbs up? Awesome, thank you, Patrick. I love that you always give me a thumbs up. I can't see everybody, so if anyone else is giving me an actual thumbs up, thank you, because I'm sharing my screen. I'm actually, you know what? I could be looking at all of you. Hold on, I can expand my screen. The wonders of Zoom. Oh my gosh, it just expanded my whole chat. Sorry, guys, give me 1 second here. There we go. Now I see more of you. All right, great. All making sense so far, right? I see a lot of yeses. Awesome, awesome, guys. Thank you. Okay, and then you could just save it right here if you feel like you kind of want to work through this a little bit more. You can save it. Really, what we want from this step is your customer avatar. Okay, if you're like going through this like Speedy Gonzalez and you're like, I would just want to get this all built out and I'm going to come back and perfect it later, go ahead and just click on all the buttons that come after this. It's going to generate, based on all of this, it's going to generate your value propositions and taglines. It's going to generate your identity pillars and colors. It's going to ask you to pick 3 colors. You can also edit any of these colors by clicking on them. You can put in a hex code. Don't do this right now. I promise you, you're going to end up spending a lot of time doing this. So don't do it right now. Just select 3 quick colors. Oops. And then, do I still have 3? Yep. And then it'll generate fonts for you. Again, you can save this and stop at any point and come back to it later. When you go to the bottom, you'll just want to say save. It'll give you a little pop-up if you're not towards the end of it. It'll just give you a little pop-up to say, are you sure you want to save? You're not done yet. Just say yes. Okay, again, what we want for today for our brand voices is specifically the customer avatar. And yes, Nathan, if you have your colors, just you can drop the hex codes in there, but please don't spend too much time on that. That's not going to be relevant for what we're doing today at all. All right, so once you have that, you should have something that looks like this. Your brand playbook, which is going to give you your brand colors. If you have a logo, you can generate it through the brand playbook editor. You through AI, you can upload yours, whatever you want to do. Again, do that later, please. You don't need it right now. But again, what you want to do is make sure that this is pretty reflective of who you're targeting, who you're serving. Okay. All right. Can everybody tell me, is anybody still working through either one of these, your brand voice or your brand playbook? Again, I don't want you to spend too much time. You can go down a rabbit hole with this, and I highly encourage it to do it at least once so that you can really perfect this, but do it after, not right now. Playbook. So you, I hope I'm not butchering your name. Is it Nadine or Nadine? Hopefully that means that you're done with the playbook. Let me know if there's a question there. Yeah, for the YouTube link, Maha, if you can, okay, you're still working on the playbook. That's fine. Maha, can you drop our YouTube channel here, please? Thank you, Paul. So yes, this is where all of our older workshops go once we're done. So you can always find it there later. Okay. So again, just go ahead and click on all the buttons just so that you can have your customer avatar from your brand playbook and a brand voice ready to go. All right. All right. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to switch back to my slides. I'll give you an extra minute to finish that. Yes, Nathan, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Trust me. We decided to kind of go deep on content this time, and I'm going to introduce you to our very secret sauce at heyLevi that's been helping us with our content, and she's going to drop some uh, total value bombs, but not quite yet. Okay, so let me switch back to our slides. So those of you that are finishing up your brand playbook, go ahead and do that now. I think I have to go into present mode again, otherwise you're going to see all of my Canva things, which are distracting. Hold on. All right, so hopefully you guys see my slides. Oh, not yet. There we go. Cool. You see my slide again? You see my screen? Awesome. Okay, great. So this is where we left off. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to do something that I've never done before. Those of you that have known me for a while, you know that I don't share prompts, and that's not because I don't like to share them or I'm not like a transparent person. Honestly, ask me anything. I'm an open book. The reason I don't share prompts is because I don't believe in the what do you call it? You know, when I see people sharing prompts, people get obsessed with the prompt itself. They're like, "Oh my God, this is going to be my holy grail. I'm going to take screenshots." I mean, you go to any, webinar or workshop or in-person event and somebody shares a screenshot of a prompt. You guys know this. If you've been to these events, you know this. They'll talk about the prompt, they'll go to the next slide. It doesn't matter how long they spent on that prompt slide. You will always have somebody say, "Can you go back to that, please, one more time?" Because people get fixated on the prompt and they forget everything else. And that's really dangerous because, believe it or not, your prompts actually are meaningless without the right context. AI doesn't care about how you've structured your prompts. If you have the fanciest looking prompt, it couldn't care less. What it cares about is the context that you're giving it. Okay. And the context is that's why we run on playbooks and heyLevi. That's why we front load all of our information through playbooks and brand voices and all these things in the core part of the app so that the AI has all the context it needs whenever you need any piece of content or strategy or anything that you need to do, or we want to launch a new offer. It already has context on what your brand is, why you're different from everybody else, who your customer avatar is, all of that. Okay. So that being said, yes, we don't share prompts because it sucks to keep them updated to make sure it works always. That is a pain point. As somebody who has been, we've now been running heyLevi for 2.5 years. We have over 300 built-in prompts into the backend and growing. I keep feeling like every time I say that number, it's already grown. I can tell you those prompts, something that works today is not going to work next week. Something that works today is definitely not going to work next month. As LLMs change, your prompts need to change. They just need to evolve. How many times have you guys, if you guys are in AI groups, have you ever seen people say, ChatGPT is suddenly not working for me? It was working great, and I'm doing exactly the same thing that I was doing before, but it's just not giving me what I was expecting anymore. And that's because prompts evolve, right? Where your focus should be is the context that you're providing AI. So that's what we're going to talk about a little bit. But for now, again, I'm going to do something that I've never done before just because I really want you guys to understand the whole idea of breaking out your brand voice into separate stages of the funnel. Okay. So I'm going to, how do I do this? Oh shoot. I think I have to stop sharing because what I'm going to do is, no, I don't have to stop sharing. I just have to, come on. Okay. Sorry, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share in a second again. I just want to copy and paste that into the chat for you guys so you can grab it from there. Okay, go ahead and grab it and save that prompt. Let me go ahead and share my screen one more time. Here we go. Okay, so go ahead and grab the prompt. I just dropped it into the chat window for you. Oh, did I not click on send? Give me 1 second. There we go. There it is. Okay. So grab that. And what we're doing here is we are going to take, like I said, your core brand voice, and now we're going to create 3 new brand voices for every stage of your funnel. So each of the 3 stages of your brand funnel that we looked at earlier. Okay, you guys excited? This is where the magic happens. Awesome. All right, I see some thumbs ups. You guys with me so far? I hope you're still excited. I hope you're not falling asleep here. Thank you, Patrick. That's what I like to see. Awesome. Okay. 3 brand voices. Yes, prompt is copied. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So this is what we're going to do. If you are on a free version of heyLevi, this is where you get to decide. Do you want to pull up maybe ChatGPT on the side? There is going to be a few extra copy and paste steps for you, but you can totally do that if that's your preference. If you'd like to get the full experience and follow along with us as we're doing this today, you can go ahead and upgrade. And again, if you find that it's not for you after this workshop, just send us an email. No harm done, no questions asked. Our feelings will be slightly hurt, but that's okay. No, I'm kidding. You get a full refund, no questions asked. So again, just do it just to follow along with us. Or if you're like, nah, I'm going to keep my ChatGPT or Claude open, that's fine too. Go ahead and make that decision now. And for those of you that are already using heyLevi on a full account, whether it's white label or a premium account, you guys don't have to worry. You're just going to be able to follow along. Okay. No sleeping. This is great. Awesome. That's what I like to hear. We have a ninja. What are you guys talking about? Why are you talking about killer bunnies and ninja squirrels? Okay, I'm going to get distracted here. I'm going to stop looking at the chat. Okay, you guys have the prompt? Yes? Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to jump back into heyLevi. Okay, we're going to go to brand voices. Okay, this is for those of you that are on a free account as well. Go ahead and go into brand voices here. All right. What you're going to do here is if you are upgrading, go ahead and do that quickly. If you are on a premium account or a white label account, we just want this little brainstorm AI icon here. That's what we're looking for. If you're going to stick with your free account, go ahead and pull up in a separate tab, or if you have 2 screens on your 2 different screens, just don't block what we're sharing here. But go ahead and pull up ChatGPT or Claude or whatever you like to use on the side. Even the free version is fine for this purpose, but obviously if you have the paid version or if you're using the API through heyLevi, you're going to get better results. But you can still do a lot even with the free version. So go ahead and do that. All good? You guys have everything open? Oh yeah, thank you, Maha. So if you are upgrading, there's also a workshop special. There's a 20% off your first month or first year if you're going annual. But go ahead and use that code. And if you already upgraded and you didn't use the code, that's fine. Just go ahead and email us and we'll fix it for you. All right, let's go. Okay, awesome. So what we're gonna do here is whatever I do here. So again, free account users, you won't have Brainstorm AI here. Go ahead and open up your other chat AI of preference and have that on the side. What we're going to do here is we're going to start a new chat. This is the part that you're going to have to copy and paste, okay? If you're not using heyLevi. So if you're using heyLevi, you'll see that you can automatically toggle on. By default, it's toggled on. You want to keep that on. It's going to keep your brand playbook toggled on. And when you have this toggled on, it's automatically behind the scenes also pulling in your brand voice. If you're using something like ChatGPT on the side, this is where you'll want to pause really quick, go into your brand playbook, copy your customer avatar from there, paste it into ChatGPT and say, this is my customer avatar. Then go back into your primary brand voice here. Go ahead and select your description and your example. So this is my primary brand voice. This is an example of it. And go ahead and give it that context, okay? Before you put in the prompt that I've added to the chat. All making sense? Hopefully I haven't lost you guys so far. Making sense? Okay, awesome. I see nods and thumbs up. So let's go. I'm with you. Awesome, Nathan. Cool. So we're going to start the chat. Again, super important at this stage to make sure that your brand playbook is turned on so it automatically pulls in your brand playbook and your brand voice, okay? I'm going to say start chat. In case you have multiple brand voices here, keep in mind that the one that has the border around it, the one that you made primary, is the one that the chat is going to pull in, okay? All right, so it's pulled us in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste that prompt that I gave you guys in the chat. I'm just going to copy and paste it in here and I'm going to hit enter. That's it. Super simple. Hopefully those of you that might be using something else have caught up by copying and pasting things over. But go ahead and do this. And what we're doing here is, in case you haven't read the prompt yet, let me just tell you what we're doing here. So we're telling the AI, give me 3 exact brand voices that I need to use in order to resonate with my customer avatar. So again, because we already pulled in our brand playbook, heyLevi already knows who your customer avatar is. You don't have to spell it out here. At each of the 3 primary stages of my brand funnel. And then I spelled out the 3 different stages here, okay? And which is a cold audience, warm audience, and a hot audience. Then I'm saying use my brand writing style. Again, if you're using heyLevi already knows what that is. It's the one that's marked, that has the purple border. Use my brand writing style as a baseline for each new brand voice. You do want your personality to carry through even in these 3 brand voices, right? Break each brand voice into a detailed 10 to 12 sentence description, followed by a detailed 10 to 12 sentence example with distinct personalities. Now, this is where we are telling it, use my personality, but have a different version of that personality, okay, in each of the different stages of the funnel to match the growing relationship with my customer at each stage of the funnel. For example, a person rarely talks the same way on a first date as he does when talking to his wife. The personality at each stage of the funnel should reflect this evolution of personality as well. Okay. We've had somebody on our team who I'm about to introduce you to shortly here. She actually went a step further and she added to her prompt to say she actually took her customer avatar by name and said these are her goals. So make sure that it resonates with, I think her customer avatar was Maya. So resonate with Maya's goals to do X, Y, and Z at each stage of each of the 3 primary stages. So you could do that as well, or you can just follow along and just do this. Okay, you can get really specific with this. The way I accessed it is here. I can just close this. So you see this little animated light bulb on the top right of my screen in heyLevi. Again, if you're on the free account, you won't see it, which is why you'll want to either upgrade really quick so you can follow along, or you can grab something else like ChatGPT, just copy paste your customer avatar and your brand voiceover. Okay. All right, so I'm just clicking on that again and going back to that conversation. And here's what it's given me. So it's told me to effectively engage with my customer avatar, Jordan, at each stage of the brand. See, it already knows who my customer avatar is and what they need. It's essential to adapt your brand voice to reflect the evolving relationship. Building upon your comeback catalyst, see, it already knows my brand voice. Writing style, here are tailored brand voices for each funnel stage. Okay. We have awareness and consideration, and then it's given me the brand voice and an example, exactly in the format that we needed for here. Okay. Now, if you're on the free version, you won't be able to do this next step, but at least whatever you're getting, you want to hold on to that and you want to always use it in your content and your copy moving forward forevermore, just to make sure that you are meeting your customers with the right brand voice at the right stage of the funnel. Okay. That you just want to hold on to that chat. If you're using heyLevi, we're going to do a little copy and pasting here as well, until we add this into the app, and we are working on it right now. But we're going to add this into your brand voices so that you can now create 3 more brand voices. Okay. Quick note before we do this, it's really important as you create each one and copy them over, you want to make sure not to save and make primary. If you do, it's fine. You can change it back. But just keep in mind that these brand voices are not going to be our primary brand voices. What I recommend doing is, I'm just going to take one of these examples here just to get it started. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy this, just something random. Right now, it doesn't matter because we're actually going to tell it exactly what these brand voices need to be. So I'm going to add a brand voice. I'm going to add my content here. Oh, it's already created something for me here, which is weird. I think this is what I was doing earlier. I'm going to delete this. Oh, shoot. I think because I started creating one earlier and I didn't finish it. Okay, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. What we're going to do, let me just put that in here again. You guys shouldn't have this problem. This is just heyLevi trying to protect my work for me and make sure that I don't lose the work that I did earlier where I just navigated away, but it's fine. I'm going to ignore that. What you want to do is just have it analyze something for you. Doesn't matter what. We are going to add that in here. Okay. Now this is the magic of Brainstorm AI when it like slides over your screen. I don't lose my place. So what I'm going to do is go back to my top of funnel cold audience, and I'm going to take this and make this the name of my brand voice. Because when I want to pull this into my content later, I don't want to confuse myself or wonder which one it was. So don't use fancy names for this one. Okay. So I'm going to say awareness and consideration, top of funnel cold audience. So I always know what this is for. And I'm going to put that in here. Okay. Going to go back. I'm going to take the description here. Again, don't use the fancy name that it gives you here. Okay. We want to use this as our names. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to add this to my description. And then I think I already pasted the correct. No, this is the correct example for this. All right, so I'm going to do this. So go ahead and do this in here. Create your 3 brand voices and copy them into your brand voices section. All right. Just make sure not to say save and make primary. For each one, you'll just say save. Just say okay. And now I'm going to continue on. So you'll see that the primary one is the only one that has the border around it. So you always know which is your core brand voice. All right. Let's go with the next one. I'm going to add a brand voice again. I'm going to add content. So this is more like what you guys should be seeing. It was just trying to take my old URL and do something with it before, but this is what you should be seeing. All right, so what it's done here, I'm going to do the same thing that I did before for the next stage of my funnel. I'm going to take preference and purchase, middle of funnel, my MOFU, if you remember that. I'm going to paste that into the name. Going to take the description from here. I'm going to ignore the fancy name there. Oops, I accidentally hit the wrong button. Hold on there. Yeah, there we go. That's the right one. And I'm going to grab the example. Just make sure that you don't mix them up. Just make sure you're copying the right one, the right description, and the right example into the right brand voice. All right, I'm going to go ahead and save this as well. I'm going to say okay. And now I have my second one, and now I have just one more to do. All right, gonna have that analyze. Hopefully you guys are following along. Let me know if you are. Let me know if I lost you. I want to make sure that you guys are all following along. Okay, so I'm gonna go back in here. Now I'm gonna take my bottom of funnel hot audience, take that as my name, loyalty and advocacy. So now you always know, whenever you want to pull these into any of your content modules, you always know exactly which one is which. Right here. All right, and then I'm going to paste in my last example here. There we go. And I'm going to put this in here. And I'm going to save it and say, okay. All right, now I have my 3 top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel brand voices ready to go. You guys see the value in this? Hopefully you guys are excited about how you're going to apply this to your content and your copy and your sales copy and marketing content moving forward. This is going to be the difference that makes the difference. Yes, prior to clicking analyze, I'm just pasting in whatever I already had in my copy paste buffer because we just wanted to analyze it. Right now, there's no way to tell it, and maybe we should add this in Kunal. For those of you that don't know, Kunal in the chat is our CTO. He's the guy that is the tech nerd at heyLevi. So yeah, I think we should probably make this a lot easier, where you can just pull it in and also give you guys an option to create a brand voice without first analyzing something. But anyway, for now, it's just copy and paste whatever's into your buffer, just so it gives you the option to add in your title and description. All right. All right, you're gonna upgrade. Okay, Matthew says, I can't add another one on the free account. I'm gonna upgrade, but need more time to look at the options. I've got 3 brand voices in ChatGPT. Perfect. And you don't even have to do this again. You can try it again in heyLevi to see if you get something better. Otherwise, if you already have it in ChatGPT, once you have your upgraded account, you can just copy and paste these into brand voices. Awesome. You can just edit this here module with your prompt on the back end. It'll make it all in a snap. Yeah. So just hold on to that prompt that I shared in the chat. It's not something that I want to share widely, only because taken out of context, it's not going to give you the results that you want. And people are going to be like, oh my God, this is the worst prompt I've ever seen. It has no structure to it. But in this context, it's going to give you exactly what you need. All right. Okay. So from here, again, those of you that have been using heyLevi, you probably already have connected the dots. You know exactly how this is going to change everything for you moving forward. Okay. But just as a quick example, and for those of you that are new, we have a ton of content modules here under marketing content and sales content. Now, sales content is your sales copy. You're going to need a product playbook for that. Okay. But marketing content is where you need your brand playbook and your brand voice. So you can actually, now that you have your brand playbook and you have your brand voice, you can actually create any of these anytime you want. The one module that you get on the free version is the social media post. So you can actually get started with this no matter what plan you're on with us. And what you'll do here is, let's say you're like, I want to create my Instagram captions or posts, or, let's just say Facebook actually for now. You can name this. I'm just going to say Facebook test. You can say Facebook April, post. You can create 30 days of content all in one go. This is where you can pull in all the magic that you just created. Okay. So if you have these brand voices saved, guess what? Now I can start pulling these in. All right. Quick quiz, quick test, pop quiz. Who can tell me which one I need for social media? Let's go. Yes, tofu. Yes, it can depend as well. Yes, okay, I take that back. So you're right. So the depends answer is correct. It depends on which part of the funnel your audience is and how warm they are. But in general, you use social media to bring in the traffic, right? That's the awareness. So social media is a powerful platform for selling. So you can do conversions there as well. But the first step and the reason it's so powerful is because you can attract the right audience to it first. So yes, it depends. It's a little bit of MoFu as well. Depending on the kind of content that you're looking to create, you could choose MoFu. But in general, you're going to be using tofu more than the MoFu. Does that make sense to everyone? Yes. Okay. So that's a great point, Mark. If you have a members or a private page, or if you have a group, then you're going to be using more of the MoFu and the BoFu. And for those of you that maybe joined us late and have no idea what we're talking about the 3 stages of the funnel. I see you cracking up, Katie. But we're talking about top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. Social media, usually you're targeting people at the top of the funnel. But Mark has a great point that if you are creating content for, let's say, a group or a private page or somewhere where your audience is warmer, then yes, you'll be, or if it's a customers only Facebook group, then you'll be using BoFu, bottom of funnel. Okay. All right, so here you go. So now you can pull this in. By default, it will always take your primary brand voice, okay, for any content module in heyLevi. But if you click on it, you can actually go deeper and pull these specific brand voices in whenever you need to. And then compare the difference, see the difference in the content that you get. All right, so with that, I'm going to introduce you to the second part of this series. We're going to make this a bit of a series. And so next month, you're not going to see this on the calendar just yet, but Maha, if you can go ahead and put our calendars link in the chat. Don't leave just yet. We're not done, but I just want to tell you that next month, we're going to have a second part to this where we're actually going to do a deeper dive on social media. Now, I am not a social media expert. I don't want to pretend to be. And so I'm going to introduce you to like I said, our magic sauce. Here at heyLevi. I hope you don't mind me calling you sauce. I feel like that's kind of offensive. Here, let me go ahead and present this one more time so I can show you who this magical person is. Wait, I can't see anything because Zoom is covering me. Hold on one second, guys. All right. Got it. Enter. All right, so we already did this. One thing that you may not realize right now is that we just touched this is just the tip of the iceberg. When you talk about different brand voices, what we've talked about today is one of the key things that you absolutely need, no matter what stage of business you're in, you need to have separate brand voices for every stage of your funnel. When you start to go deeper on specifically social media with this, there's a whole, I don't want to call it can of worms, but a whole new world there. Because every platform also requires a different strategy. a different brand voice and a different way of speaking to it. This is where I don't want to overwhelm you. So stay with me. I'm going to make this super easy for you, but just to give you some understanding and context, let me give you some examples, okay? Think about it. So the same person, think about you. You're probably, none of you guys are on just one social media, right? Can you tell me if any of you, put a one in the chat if you're on just one social media channel? I'd be really surprised if I have anyone's. I'm expecting the chat to go completely quiet right now. Okay, it's quiet. Most of us are on multiple. Kunal, shut up. That is my anti-social CTO in the chat going one. But most of us are on different social media channels, which is exactly how we should be because we want to meet our audience on all the different channels that they're on. We don't want them to forget about us when they go from Facebook to Instagram, right? What is social media? Nathan, no. I'm sure Kunal wishes he said that now. Point five. Come on, guys. I know that you're on more than one. All right. So if you're on more than one, think about your own expectations and behavior on each of these different platforms. This was crazy to me when, again, I'm going to introduce it to somebody very special, but when she told me this, my mind was blown. So hopefully you guys are like going, oh my gosh, I didn't even think of this before. What I've been doing is I've been copying my Facebook posts into Instagram and into LinkedIn, and I stopped doing it after this. And I'm going to tell you why. Facebook is informative and it's community driven, right? We go to Facebook more for the discussions, for the groups, for the entertainment and connection, but mostly for that discussion and connection, right? Like we want to have discussions with other people. The posts that tend to get the most amount of engagement are the ones that start some sort of a discussion, whether they're saying something that, ruffles feathers, or they're saying something that you agree with. You're going to most likely on Facebook, you're going to respond to the posts that either say something that you really believe in or that you completely disagree with. Okay. Users tend to engage more with long form post discussions and live videos. I just want to make sure that we're doing okay on time. I'm going to wrap this up in the next 5 minutes and then we're going to do a quick Q&A, okay? Users tend to engage more with long form posts, discussions, and live videos. Purchasing behavior is based more on recommendations and social proof. Keep in mind that the purchasing behavior of your audience, the same people that are on these different platforms, their own purchase behavior and yours will be different depending on which platform you're on. Okay. People will buy more from posts than from stories. This is the one platform where you can add links to purchase in your posts and people will buy unless they're completely cold, of course, but they will buy directly from your posts. Instagram, people come to Instagram for inspiration, aesthetics, and lifestyle content, right? So different mindset. Shopping behavior is strong, although people will not buy from posts. Now, there is, of course, the platform itself doesn't allow us to share links in the caption. It will not hyperlink to anything. And so what you need to do is people on Instagram are conditioned to buy from stories. So your posts need to all lead them. Hopefully you guys aren't still doing link in bio stuff. They need to be sending people to your stories, and in your stories is where you'll have your links. Okay. Consumers favor brands that align with their values and lifestyle aspirations. This is where your brand voices are going to come in handy. Instagram is a sales platform. A lot of people don't realize this. Unless you've been on Instagram for a while, it's a sales platform. People are conditioned to convert easier on Instagram than most others. I think TikTok might be an exception, but it's different kinds of things that sell on Instagram versus TikTok, right? Your grid needs to go to your stories and your stories to your point of sale. It's easier to grow on Instagram if you drive traffic from your other channels. Okay. I'm going to give you one more example, but I'm not going to overwhelm you because I really wanted this workshop to be about brand voices. I just want to show you all the world of brand voices out there and what we're going to be covering on our next workshop. LinkedIn is totally different from Facebook and Instagram. It's professional, authoritative, thought-driven content that shares experiences, lessons, and expert advice is what performs the best, right? No surprise there. Trust-based purchasing behavior with B2B sales. Now, if you're a B2B business, LinkedIn is where you should be more than Facebook. And Facebook kind of does a good mix of both, but LinkedIn is where you want to be because people will buy the highest ticket offers and services on LinkedIn. But guess what? They're not going to buy from your posts unless you have a really hot audience. I've seen that happen when you have a really hot audience. Most people will buy from your DMs. Okay. So again, your calls to action in LinkedIn need to be How do you warm them up further? So I see a lot of great calls to action where people are saying, sign up for my newsletter for more of these things, or sign up here to be told when we're going to do this next. But something to remember is that people do not like to leave LinkedIn for external links. So you want to drive them into further conversation on the platform itself. All right, so you can see, I mean, I'm not even going into the next three right now because we're going to save that for next time, and we're going to do a deeper dive on each of these. And the lovely lady that I've been talking about this whole time is in the chat there, Laura Amy. I want to introduce you to our amazing marketing director. She has completely blown my mind over the past month, more than a month, right? A couple of months, with all the stuff that she's taught me about content. And I wanted you guys to learn directly from her because I'm not a social media expert. I wanted to show you some of the amazing things that she's been able to do with social media. This is her, what is it? Your LinkedIn, right, Laura? This is your LinkedIn. She has 26,644 followers. She will get 200 plus followers in a day whenever she posts.
I'm about to hit 28,000 today.
It's 28,000 today.
And that was from last night. That screenshot was last night. So we're going up.
Hopefully you guys can see Laura there. Yeah, so you can see that she's on fire when it comes to this stuff. It's amazing what she does. Nathan, you thought your 10K was cool. It is cool, but it's not Laura cool. All right, so these are her. You can see how her followers and her post impressions and things are constantly going up every time she Kanal, let's leave you out of this conversation for now. Kanal goes, I don't mean to brag, but I have 34. Thanks, Kanal. No, not 34K. Maha, have you met him? All right. And to show her off a little bit more, that's her TikTok. She went from 10K to 40K followers in 3 months. I don't even know how she does this. I always thought people who said this stuff were fake. Laura's not fake, so now I believe it. I'm a believer. Facebook, her 3-month growth, you can see it over here. And this is from one of the ladies that she's worked with personally, who she taught these strategies that she's going to share with you next month. She shared these strategies with somebody in her network, and this is the kind of results that you can expect. I asked her to just share one with me. They cracked 50K, and what was it? They cracked it twice in a row across 3 different platforms just by leveraging brand voices for platform specific strategies. Now, for those of you that are using heyLevi, I have really good news, so don't be overwhelmed. We've already started to build all of these things into our social media module. We're actively working with Laura to rebuild and redo and refresh the social media module in heyLevi. It's already following these best practices that you just saw on my screen for what the ideal calls to action and the ideal formats are. But we are going to be working with her a lot more until the next workshop. And then Laura is going to be showing you guys how to use heyLevi and how to leverage this knowledge of how the different platforms work when it comes to buyer psychology. Again, what is amazing to me is not just that there's different buying behavior on these platforms. What's amazing to me is that the same person will go on all of these different platforms and their buying behavior will be different. She shared, I mean, I didn't even put TikTok on this because I didn't want to overwhelm you guys. I just stuck to 3 platforms, but TikTok is a whole different thing. People buy like crazy there, but it's all small ticket items, right? Whereas LinkedIn, people will buy in your DMs for B2B high ticket service offers. So again, very different mindset depending on what you are trying to leverage and where you want to meet your audience. Really helpful stuff to know. So we're going to be covering all of that next month. It's not on our calendar yet, but Laura, what do you think? I think over the next week, we should be able to schedule that out and get it on the calendar, right? Awesome. All right. Well, that is everything that I wanted to share with you guys today. So you have your 3 brand voices. You have your brand voices for every part of your funnel. Let me actually go back to where we were. Hold on. Here. So you guys have hopefully, no matter how long you've been in marketing, hopefully this was a good refresher on the basics of the brand funnel, what you need to do to meet people at each stage of that funnel and how your brand voice can help you get there. With that, I want to open it up for questions. If you guys have any questions at all, go ahead and raise your hand or put it in the chat, whatever you'd like to do. I'm going to actually stop sharing here so I can see you all. All right, Jack Is your hand raised? It says raised hand, but I don't see a raised hand. Oh, there it
Yeah,
is. I see it in the
there
corner.
it is. Yeah, it's up there somewhere. Anyway, yeah. So obviously, I can see where this is going with brand voices for specific social media platforms. Do you have in the social media content area, can you predefine your buckets? You're like, like if you have 3 to 5 different buckets that you work in, and then have that pull in and spit out your, better content, or at least ideas for content for each of those buckets.
Yeah, Jack, are you using heyLevi? Are you familiar with the buckets
Yes.
inside of heyLevi?
Yeah. Where is that exactly? It's I had it at once, and then I've not seen it. It's under social media
It's under the
posts,
social media post. Yeah, let me show you. And all of this is stuff that Laura's going to go over in more detail with you guys next month. And yes, it is in addition to the workshop that's already scheduled for next month.
okay.
In full
And
transparency, the one that's planned for next month, you guys, is a whole different app. It's actually not heyLevi. It's a whole different app that we've been building out in secret. So we're gonna share that with you at that workshop that's on the calendar. So make sure you sign up for that. But the heyLevi workshop for next month will be the one that Laura is going to be leading for social media specifically. But here on the social media, you guys see my screen again? Yes? Okay. Um, in the social media post module, Jack, when you fill out this initial stuff and you go next, the next step is where you'll see all the buckets. So we have education, entertainment, information, and what was it? Inspiration? I don't know which one I just said. But yeah, so the 4 buckets that we use are here. Now, these are meant to go in addition to 2 additional buckets, which are very important, but very hard for AI to create for you. The 5th and 6th buckets are UGC, and I think we have that here. Yeah. So on the very last section, it'll say that's a wrap. Don't forget to pepper in some behind the scenes and user-generated content into your posting schedule as well. So you want to do that. And then, of course, the next bucket is if you use your product playbook. And we're working on combining all of these so you can do all of these in one go. But your product playbook is what will give you your promotional posts that you also want to pepper in.
so can you make specific buckets that stay consistent, or does it kind of generate every time within that framework? So, like, for example, if we had a roofer and they were going to do a content bucket based on latest shingles, it doesn't really matter, but you get the idea. And can we have that as a consistent bucket that every time we go in to generate new content, it already knows that that's going to be one of the things that we want to fill every time?
So if you want that every time, I would add that to your customer avatar. That's really what this module is looking at. It's looking at what are the interests of your customer avatar, and it's always going to build and give you ideas based on that. Okay, so here is where it's pulling in. You'll see my brand customer avatars right there. So this is the information that it's going off of. If there's anything that you don't want to add to your customer avatar, but you want to do it as a one-off, you can add that into the next section. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So if I go back to here, it's given me about 5 ideas. It usually will give me 4 or 5 ideas for each of my buckets. If I want to generate more, I can do that. If I want to add a specific thing, like you just said, if I'm like, I want it to be, about shingles, but in the entertainment bucket, I want it to be fun, I can just add that in here.
And will it save that for future use?
It won't. If you wanted to do it consistently, you want to add that to the customer avatar.
Okay, so then it would pull. How would I add it? I don't want to waste everybody else's time.
No, that's fine. These are great
how would I
questions.
add that? How would I add that as a permanent feature within the avatar, or is it just going to?
In the avatar, you just go into your brand playbook and you just update your customer avatar to be interested in that here. So you can just say, Jordan is interested in learning all the different things about shingles. I don't know. It's not going to make sense in this
No,
example.
it doesn't matter. Yeah, right. But for purposes of this conversation, if you were to list out is interested in this, and this, like if you had 5 specific buckets you wanted to fill every time you engaged with your social media, it theoretically should figure those out.
It's always going to look at this. It's going to create your buckets based on these topics that are in your customer avatar. So as long as you have those topics in your customer avatar, if those are topics of interest, you probably want to be talking about them in more than just your social media, right? You want to be writing blog posts about it. You want to be creating YouTube videos about it. Whichever platforms you're on, you'll want that content, the topic of that content to be consistent. So in that case, you'll want to have it in your customer avatar so that pulls in everywhere in the app. So if there is a use case for us adding a field that stays, let me know. So everything that is sticky in the app comes from your playbooks. It comes for sales related copy. It comes from your product playbooks. For brand related, marketing related copy, it will come from your brand playbook.
Yeah, I'd be happy to have a further conversation about that because I don't want to take up everybody else's time on a very specific use case. But but thank you. That's good. That's good for me. I'll tap out.
Absolutely. So if you want to book a call, just reach out to us later. You can use the chat widget on our website or email us at help@heylevi.ai. The team will send you a link to get on a call with me, and we can definitely talk this out more. Awesome. Thanks for the question. I think that was a great question. All right. You like the idea though? Yeah, it's a great idea. I'm just trying to figure out. I'll share more with you. I think, Jack, you and I connect and let's hash this out so we can figure out the best way for you. Okay. All right. Any more questions? This was very helpful. I already see some use cases for the new brand voices. Awesome. I want you guys to be thinking about what stage of the funnel you're in whenever you create any copy. Okay, whether it's marketing copy, sales copy, I really want you to be thinking about which stage of the funnel are these people in? What brand voice do I need to be using right now? Do I need to be using my generic personality brand voice for this? Or do I really need to be honed in on a specific stage of my funnel here? Awesome. You're very welcome. All right. I'm not seeing any questions and I'm not seeing any more hands. So anybody else, if you guys have questions, Scott, you have a question?
Yeah, I got a quick question. So I just started with heyLevi. So I was doing my brand book, and I'm not really thrilled with the customer avatar just because it for some reason it put in there that a 35-year-old Asian woman. Not that that's an issue, but it was very specific like that, and I'm not sure if it's because of that. But I noticed when I'm creating graphics for social media and stuff, it seems to be making every person it creates Asian in the graphics. So I'm wondering if that's where that's related or not. And if I can I go back in and have it regenerate the customer avatar so that and kind of see how that goes?
Yes, you can regenerate it. You can also just type into it. Hold on, let me show you. Yeah. So where am I? Here we go. So, we have African American here, right? So I can change this and I can go, if, I don't know, who would you like? Like Caucasian? Is that more like of your?
Can we just keep it generic without having any specific and let it kind of?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I like when, I'm using AI and it's using, it is very kind of organic based on the prompt with generating and being multicultural and all that. But it was just weird. I found every picture it was creating, it seemed to be creating it just with Asian people, and it seemed to create scenes from like Japan or something where with people eating with chopsticks. It was just like, so I was assuming it's because of that's happening, but I'm not 100% sure.
AI trying really hard to please you there. I think you kind of already guessed the answer. So you just want to take that out from your customer avatar. It isn't pulling that in from the picture. The picture is just for your reference. So I had African American.
I meant from the avatar. In other words, where it said Asian female, and is that why all the pictures were okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can remove that. We have that in there because we didn't have those in our customer avatars before. That was a request from our users that they wanted that in there. So we added it in because it's easier to have it there by default and you can just remove it versus you trying to introduce it in. So yeah, just remove that part if you don't
Okay.
want that to be like ethnicity specific. So I remove that. You know, I can just, you know,
Okay.
I can also regenerate my picture. But again, this is just for my reference. Now I have somebody who's Asian, and yeah, I can keep regenerating it. But again, the image is not what's going to carry over. It's the description. So as long as you don't have it in the description, you should be good to go.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Yeah, great questions, guys. Hopefully, since I'm not getting any specific brand voice related questions, I'm getting more brand playbook related questions in social media. And again, you guys bring your social media questions. Your mind is about to be blown next month. Let me stop sharing here. Any question that you have about social media, I guarantee you, Laura has an answer for you. She's done it all. She's been doing this for a while. By the way, let me also say she has a 9-month-old. She's been growing her platforms with a 9-month-old. I forgot what social media was when I had my babies. I was a hot mess. So yeah, I don't trust me. If there's anybody who has an answer to your social media questions and can help you grow, it is Laura. So we're gonna announce that as soon as we have it scheduled, and we'll send that out. But I have no time off. Yeah, we keep her busy too. That's partly on us. But yes, any questions? This is going to be amazing. I'm really excited for this next session. And again, we're going to have 2 workshops next month. And the reason for that is we're going to have one heyLevi workshop monthly. But the other workshop that's on the calendar right now, it's only there because we want to introduce you to this whole different app. It is not a part of heyLevi. Again, just want to be super transparent about this. It's just something that we've completely different that we've been building on the side. Yes, all of our workshops right now, we've decided to open them to the public. So go ahead and share. Anybody that you want to bring, please do bring. We love new faces. But yeah, both the workshops are going to be public. All right. If you're launching a new, this is a direct message to me, but if you are launching a new brand, do all of these steps apply? Absolutely. They apply whether you're starting out with a new brand. And when you're doing a new brand, I actually like what Katie shared with me. Sorry, Katie. Hopefully you don't mind me sharing your secrets here. But I love how Katie Stank in our, if you guys can see her, wave Katie. She works with a lot of new brands and new businesses. And so what she does is she helps them. Am I still sharing? No, I'm not sharing. She will help them kind of think through their new brand and who they're targeting and what they're doing when it's not super clear to them by using Brainstorm AI. So she just overlays Brainstorm AI over it, which I thought was so cool. And she will just have them ask questions about like, this is what I think I do. It's, you know, what I do, but who would I do it for? Who would be the right audience for me? I'm also guessing some of this, Katie, but is that pretty much how you do it? Like you just, you know, ask questions about like really drilling down into who your target audience should be, who's going to resonate best with what you do, and how do you want to position yourself? What is it that you could do that everybody else is doing, but you don't want to do it that way? And you can really get a lot of answers from Brainstorm AI. Katie, feel free to unmute if you want to add anything to that. So far, I've done it for them, but yes, I use the crap out of Brainstorm to answer all the questions so we don't have to do discovery and research. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Where do we book a call? If you want to book a call, yeah, that link will also work. Yeah, you can use that to book a call. That is only once a week. If you want to get on my calendar specifically, just email the team at help@heylevi.ai and they'll send you my link, my personal link. But yeah, the one that Maha shared in the chat is also a great one. We do that twice a week. The demos. So if you have any questions and you want to see more of the app or anything like that, that's a great way to book a call with us. Yes, thank you, Maha. help@heylevi.ai is the email. Okay, it looks like some of the other questions have already been answered in the chat. I don't want to keep you guys too long. I know we're over time. So for everyone that's still here, thank you guys for hanging out with us today on a Thursday. Hopefully this was really valuable. If you can, before you go, if you can drop in the chat any one thing that hopefully blew your mind or takeaway that you're going to go and implement in your business, please share with us. We love to know. We love to know, like we can only think of like so many use cases, but it's really, amazing to see when our community starts to take these ideas and start to build out their own use cases with them. So yes, let me know. Tofu, mofu, bofu. That's just fun to say, isn't it? And the faster you can say it, you should say it when you have a drink in you or two. And yeah, it can be a new party game. Takeaway, use the new funnel stage brand voice and social post, right? That was something that blew my mind too. And I, again, I'm not a social media expert by any stretch of the imagination, so I'm learning a lot with you guys too. Love how you incorporate funnel stages into heyLevi. Hey, Edward, good to see you. Yeah, so we're going to be incorporating them more and more in the app as well. Love the idea of saving those into the feeder sections. Yeah. Awesome. Well, you're very welcome. Thank you guys for hanging out, and hopefully you'll be able to make it to both the workshops. They're going to be very, very different from each other, both extremely valuable. So we have a really exciting April ahead of us. But yeah, if there are no other questions, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you guys again for joining us. I hope you have a great rest of your Thursday and have a great weekend. And we will see you guys here next month. Bye.